Welcome back to a special Friday edition, NHL Trade Deadline edition of the Fanatics View Hockey Show. I am James Lynch. We're going to have a bunch of guests on here today, but happy to start things off strong here. We got Andrew Stein from the Hockey News. We got Mike Straw back to talk about the... Oh, actually, hold on a second. I think I'm going to exercise my right to use my no trade. Mike, you got to leave. I'm sorry. No, I'm joking. No. It's no. Had to throw that in there.
How about this? I'll exercise mine and just say no.
Yeah, exactly. No, fair enough. But yes, the great Mike Straw back here on the program, Andrew Stein. What's up, boys? How are you doing?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm as giddy as a 5-year-old on Christmas morning. It's just...
I don't blame you. Sabres playing great right now. You know, a couple big trades. Obviously, the joke we were making there was obviously Colton Parayko not going to the Sabres, but you guys get Logan... Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. And let's start there, guys. And Andrew, we'll talk about the Sens in a second. Obviously, Andrew, one of the foremost experts when it comes to that. But just your thoughts on the Sabres being buyers for the first time in forever.
It's hard to believe. It really is. Like, this whole run is hard to believe. And seeing them, the Rob Thomas thing was interesting. Didn't see where that would be a fit, but it would be great. Like, you make a guy like that fit if you can bring him in. The Colton Parayko thing, I didn't like from the start because of age and term left on that contract. Unless you were getting them to retain a good chunk of that salary, wasn't really a fan of. So when it came out that he declined to waive, it was kind of like a sigh of relief, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But going in and knowing, like, hey, Jarmo is willing to make moves and stuff, and he sees the windows open, like, now for the Sabres, it is a weird position to be in, and it's hard to not buy into what they're doing with how it hasn't been like, oh, they had a good 3 weeks. This is a 3-month run at this point. Like, it's incredible. They hit 80 points yesterday. They hit 80 points. They had 79 last year. They hit 80 points with 20 games to go. This is only the 5th time in their 14-year playoff drought where they've hit the 80-point mark.
Wow. Yeah.
The 5th
it's
time
been a long
they
time.
hit 80.
All it took was 30 games of Josh Norris, eh?
Him and I swear, like, because a lot of the reports were on the Thomas deal that Norris was one of the players the Blues wanted in return, and Buffalo said, nah, we're good. And when Norris is healthy, to me, I was talking to a couple friends last night. I think he's the best forward on this team. Just because the way he can pass the puck, the way he gets into open spaces, the way he can take the puck away, forecheck, like, he just does everything. Now, Thompson's the best player. But he's your best goal scorer. He's your star. Norris, from a forward standpoint, is the best all-around forward they have, and it's just incredible. It's night and day when him and Benson are playing on this team. But like, even I could go on and on about this team. Like, goaltending since December 9th, their goaltending is number 1 in the league in goals against, number 1 in the league in save percentage, while the Sabres continue to give up near the bottom of the league in shots. Like, they're 26-5-2 since December 9th. This is their best 33 game stretch in franchise history. That's going back to even the President's Cup team from 20 years ago. Like, it's
14 years of excitement, man. Let it out. You can let it out now, Mike, because I know last time we had you on, you were you were sort of cautiously optimistic about how things were going to go, but they've lived up to it. It's been pretty incredible.
Funny enough, the Vegas win the other night was when I finally bought in.
Okay, there we go. It took that. Yeah, I understand, though. Trust me, years of missing the playoffs, the suffering, the bad trades.
You're waiting to be hurt again. You're that jilted ex that thinks, they'll change. They've changed, and then they don't.
I am paraphrasing this stat, but I believe I saw that Vegas is something like 5-15 against playoff teams.
Yeah,
who are currently in the playoff position.
No, I saw that same stat. Yeah,
my favorite part is that the entire Pacific Division would miss the playoffs right now if they were in the East.
I know.
The Sabres. Yeah. The Sabres. This is how insane the East is. So the Sabres are 80 points. They're 8 points up on Columbus, who's in that filed wild card, or who's up the first team out of the playoffs. If the Sabres were in the West, not only would they have an 8-point lead in the Pacific Division if they played in the Pacific and the coasts were flipped, they would have a 16-point clearance from the first team out of the playoffs in the West. The East is incredible. Like, we're seeing Boston finally kind of become human. Tampa Bay's become a little human, losing 4 straight. Pittsburgh without Crosby and probably without Malkin for a couple games after what he did last night. If you guys
what a bonehead move that was. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
The Islanders are there. Montreal is 50-50, and then Columbus is coming up. But Detroit, like the East is just so log jammed where you're in a situation too where Buffalo is 3rd in the East total, which, by the way, go back to 1 to 8 seeding, please. 3rd in the East total, 4 points from being number 1 in the East, period. But still, a 4-game losing streak could see them out of the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty crazy here. Just kind of looking at, the standings right now. Andrew, wanted to get your thoughts so far. I think the 1 or 2 trades, you guys got Warren Fogle, and I saw you traded David Perron back to Detroit. Just your thoughts on the Sens so far, as we're kind of talking generally about the deadline here.
We to Mike's point there, Ottawa is 7-1-2 in their last 10, and only last night did they finally gain any ground on a wild card spot in those 10 games. Like, it's pretty nuts. For the trade, actually, since we were partially on the Buffalo train there, they traded Buffalo's 2nd-round pick that they got in the Norris deal to get Fogle. So the trade is Cousins and Fogle for Norris in the end. And I think it's right. I think it's a really good move. Ottawa's Achilles heel this year has been goaltending and penalty killing. And Fogle has this reputation as a superb penalty killer, which is why you would acquire a guy with 9 points at the trade deadline, who also happens to make $3.5 million. But that could literally be the difference in closing the gap or not, is just killing a couple more penalties that they haven't been able to do this year. So I like the move. Perron is on the IR. I don't know why you would trade him to a division rival that you're chasing for a spot. That one was a little weird, but
did he have no move on that? I was wondering that because he played for Detroit. If that was, he did wait. Well, that's what I mean. Like, I wonder though that that might have been a place he wanted to go. Like, we just had that situation with Tyler Myers in Vancouver where Detroit apparently offered him 2nd-round pick, but he's like, no, I'd rather go to Dallas because that's where I'm from. So I wonder if that played into the Perron going to Detroit of all teams.
Probably. On that note, I think there should be a cap on how many players can have no movement clauses.
I agree.
I kind of at that point. I agree 1,000%. I'm kind of at that point where and James, you've heard me on this show before too. I also don't believe in contracts longer than 4 years. Yeah. Like, I do not believe telling me. I don't believe in long-term contracts. I don't believe in no movement. I get they've earned the right, but no trades and stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of them. And I get players want to protect themselves. From a fan standpoint, they're lame. From a player standpoint, they're the greatest things ever. But yeah, I'm also not a fan of long-term contracts because the value of them after year 3 just drop 80% of the time.
Yeah, I agree. We'll touch back on the Sens in a sec. We got our guy Troy on here. Troy, glad I'm getting to talk to you now because I haven't actually talked to you since the big trade last night with Columbus. You guys get Connor Garland. Just your thoughts on that deal. Because we had talked about Connor Garland, I think, when you were on the show last, and now he's a member of the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, and as I mentioned before, when he was with the Coyotes, this was a player that I was always interested in just because of the compete level that he's had on top of the skill. This is a player that fits perfectly as a middle 6 winger in this Columbus Blue Jackets team. In my mind, he's probably going to be playing on the second line at even strength and at the second power play unit. And that's what we need. We needed that extra scoring punch. And when you look at what it took to acquire him, it was virtually nothing if you're looking back at the David Jiricek trade tree, because we traded him earlier this season for a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round pick. And we saw the return that David Jiricek just got from the Philadelphia Flyers today in just Bobby Brink. So considering we retained half of our assets from that trade and turned it into Connor Garland, and we still have 2 picks left to either draft or make a trade with, I think it's fantastic asset management by Don Waddell, because he knows 6'4" right-handed defensemen always fetch a good return, whether they pan out to be good or not.
Yeah, No, it certainly worked out. I think from the Canucks perspective, kind of mixed bag. I think some Canucks, and I had mentioned this to you as well, if Kent Johnson was maybe going back the other way, I think that would have excited some people. Although I get the naysayers as well because he's 23, but they're going through a rebuild right now. So like, is he even going to be part of the rebuild, or do they want to get, to the point where they are getting good and then you got to sign him to a big contract? But I think, we need something to be excited about. And I think Kent Johnson going the other way would have been good, but I'll take the second and the third. But this just, again, goes back to this, speaking of trade trees, the Oliver Ekman-Larsson trade, which a big piece of that was Connor Garland, and now you've essentially gotten rid of Dylan Gauthier from Utah, and then now you get a second and a third. Like, it was just such a disaster of a trade for the Canucks there. So there we go. Do you think Columbus is done, Troy? Do you think they're going to make any more moves here? See them because this was a big move for them.
Based off what I'm hearing is that they are not in on any rentals. Any player that they acquire will have term, hence why they acquired Connor Garland. And another player that was there breaking news?
Corey Perry to Tampa.
Oh, wow. It sounded like they were going to re-sign him, as we got Adam Martin joining us right now. What's up, Adam?
Boys.
What's up, guys?
Good day.
Good.
You guys.
No Leaf stuff right now that we've seen other than the Nick Waugh trade from yesterday.
It's so nice. How's that bottom of the standings look? I can't hear you all the way from top in Buffalo land.
Look right behind me. I got the tank commander rolling right now. So. You got Treliving steering the tank, and this team is terrible. So
I am so I'm gonna enjoy this next month and as much as I possibly can.
You and I have that in common.
I'm going to enjoy this.
Just quickly for all you guys, and more so maybe for Mike, but he says, do you think Parayko regrets his decision now that Buffalo got Logan Stanley and Luke Schenn? I mean, it's his choice. The thing with the Parayko thing is it's not going to end well for St. Louis, because now it's out there that he obviously has the no trade, but the fact that it got leaked, like, that's got to hurt that relationship with Colton and the Blues.
Trade. Now notice with this deal, with the Buffalo deals on the leaking thing.
Yeah.
Now, I come from a gaming background where I am known for leaking information. It's part of the job. But notice how both of the trades that were leaked but not done came from St. Louis and Sabres. Clearly, there's someone on the Blues side that is putting this information out there.
Yeah. Well,
And the Parayko thing, like, I don't think he regrets it, because he did say he'd be open to going elsewhere. It's because Buffalo doesn't have palm trees. We know this.
Well, he wanted to stay on the West too, is my understanding. So, maybe that's where
I viewed it as he wants to go to a Florida team. No, because palm trees. But no.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but you can get palm trees and
the Stanley and Schenn thing, that was just a plan B. Like, I don't think there was ever serious talk about going after Ristolainen again and bringing him back. The Falk thing probably didn't go anywhere. My guess is because of the way the last two potential deals with the Blues went. So the Stanley and Schenn thing, they're depth guys. They're 6th and 7th D-man. It is, it has me wondering what the plan is for Connor Timmins, who broke his leg and was expected to be back in about 8 weeks. We're getting to that point. Is he they don't expect him back now at this point? Are they going to bring in, Zach Metza has been playing really, really well for Buffalo. Like, what are they planning on doing there with him? So the defense, I don't think it's a stretch to say Buffalo at this stage has the best defensive group in the entire NHL.
It's up there for sure. And I think one of the things that
it just adds to what they a strength that they have.
Well, and I'll chime in on this, and Adam can speak to this as well. Having Luke Schenn in the locker room is a huge asset. Like, and I know you have pretty good leadership in there too, but just to get character guys like that'll help up, stand up for teammates, that type of thing. That's a great asset to have, especially going into the playoffs. So I think that alone is a good move there, just getting Schenn in there for some veteran leadership. So Crit mentions here, I thought it's because no one wants to live in Buffalo. Well, you know what, Mike, we talked about this. I mean, Jason Zucker decided to stay there. Like, there are players that do like Buffalo. They embrace it and all that. So it's not,
a lot of players, you're more often than not, players who've played in Buffalo, when they retire, they live here. They don't leave. That's just the nature of it is. And even Darlene said it after the game, because they asked about like a fact of players saying no, and he kind of was like, if they're here, they'd understand why it's so great.
Holy shit! Sorry, they gave up a 2nd round pick for Corey Perry. I don't know if he's worth that much. That's
Tampa is scared of the warpath that is the Buffalo Sabres.
That's true. Yeah, so that has to be it.
But if I can chip in on that defensive thing,
go for it.
Ottawa leads the league in shot suppression. Fewest shots allowed in the league. So you better hope we not run into each other, because it is going to be a 1-2-1 kind of game.
Those are my
defensive
games.
battle.
Those are my games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no, it should be interesting to see what happens.
And we've both seen goaltending implode this season.
And it's one of those things too. The Shen and Stanley, they bring what Buffalo doesn't really have.
Yeah,
they bring people who are defensemen who are known for playing away from the puck. They already got offensive defensemen in Dahlin, Power, Byram, and apparently Samuelson, who should be a Norris candidate with the way he's played this year from an all-around defensive play. But like, they have that. They need somebody. They need physical on the defense, and this brings that, especially on the Shen side. So I'm interested to see. And they got Winnipeg to retain half of Shen's salary.
Yeah, I saw that too.
That is a good help for them. So
we still got some other names on the board right now. Nazem Kadri, is he going to get moved? We thought maybe Colorado, but I would think with the Nicholas Watt trade that basically they're not, because I know they still have some cap space, but I don't think the numbers will sort of work there. Who else is out there? Pedersen. I mean, I don't know. I mean, only one can dream at this point that Pedersen can get traded, but we'll see what happens there. Brock Besser's name's still out there for the Canucks. Drew O'Connor. I'll tell you on the Canucks side of things, like with the Garland trade, a lot of people are happy, not because obviously we like Garland here, but just, the goal is to just get rid of these big contracts as much as possible. Apparently no one will take Evander Kane. Like, the Canucks had their opportunity yesterday to terminate his contract and they didn't do that. So I think they are holding on hope they can get something for Kane. You've still got Adam, you know him, David Comp, obviously unrestricted free agent in the center. Here's the worst news of yesterday. I don't want to get your guys' thoughts on this. The Canucks were talking about, there was David Pagnotta reported yesterday that they are trying to trade Teddy Bluger, who's a third line center, good job at killing penalties and all that stuff. But then there's also talk that they might extend him, which is just absolutely ridiculous for a team that's trying to rebuild. Like, if you wanted to trade him and sign him in the offseason, I understand that, but like, I don't get that. So would you guys expect any movement, any big moves today, I guess is kind of what I'm getting at here. What are your guys' thoughts? Feel free, anyone can chime in.
I think we'll see a lot of, hey, these teams are talking about this player, and then they not happen. I feel like that's what we're going to see. I know we have the salary cap increasing coming next year and all that stuff, so people might be willing to take on these deals, like the contracts, knowing they'll have more space next year. But I think maybe at most we see one major deal. I think it's going to be more of a bunch of middle six players and third pairing defensemen that go.
Out of nowhere, Ottawa actually has $13 million in cap space. So Pedersen to Ottawa, you heard it here first.
I would love that. If you can take the whole contract, I'm totally fine with that. I like, honestly,
for a seventh round picture.
Yeah, no, but I'm not even kidding. Like, that's where people are at right now. If we lose him for nothing, that's totally fine. Just get him off the books, because there's sort of a school of thought now with Pedersen. I mean, he's not playing terrible, but he's not the old Pedersen, that's for sure. The thought is this guy is not good for the rebuild in terms of like work ethic and all that. Like, there's stuff coming out now about obviously the Miller thing. There was Tocchet who didn't like him. Quinn Hughes, there was stuff coming out of that. So it's sort of a common denominator. He needs a fresh start as badly as anyone in the league right now. So if they can get off the contract, it's fine.
The kind of player who needs a big power forward to kind of make him feel safe to do his thing out there.
Yeah.
Who better than Brady, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, he's got no trade protection. So does he want to go to Ottawa? I mean, there is that Travis Green connection. It seemed like he had a good time being coached under him. He had better seasons under him, that's for sure.
Alfie's the assistant coach, the Swedish connection. There?
Maybe that works out. The other one I look at is LA.
Happen, by the way.
Well, first off, I look at LA because a couple of reasons. Number one, Ken Holland's an idiot. Number two, the LA Kings, they got to replace Kopitar at some point, right? Because he's going to retire at the end of the year. Byfield's not really that guy. He's good, but the only issue there is like, what would they get back? But I'm honestly, I'm at the point with the Canucks where it's like, just get off the contract. Like, use that money elsewhere, bring in veterans, whatever, figure out you need a new makeup of the team. And it starts with your highest paid player, I think. So that's where Canucks fans are at right now. Adam, I haven't talked to you much. Do you think the Leafs are going to make any other moves? What's this? Matthew Nyes is available now. That was crazy.
I'm not buying it. I think it's like clickbait from Elliot Friedman, honestly. Like, I can't see them moving. First off, Nyes is 23. He has, I think it's a 7-year deal, right? For like $7 million or something. Like, it's a great contract. They'd be stupid to move him unless they get like 4 first-round picks, which I don't see happening for really. So I think they're going to do, like you said, James, like smaller trades for their UFAs. So I think Lawton's going to be gone today. Hopefully get like a second-round pick back. They traded a first for him last year. It didn't really work out too well. Although I like him.
Wasn't Minton in that deal too?
No, that was for Carlo, which is
that Carlo. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean McMahon should also be traded. Like again, they like these guys. I like them too as players, right? But they could always resign them in the offseason if they wanted to, right? Like, so I think it's better to go get a couple picks. Like, I think they want a first for McMahon, but it might be the same deal that you guys got for Sherwood 2 seconds. I think. Some team
that seems to be the going rate in a lot of cases.
He makes minimum salary too, right? So any team could fit him in.
And that's a big problem right now. Teams don't have cap space, so it is sort of a salary issue. So let me ask you this just quickly, and we'll move on. Yeah. Do you want the Leafs to rebuild, or do you want sort of a retool? Because you could really blow this up at this point and say, you know what, Austin Matthews, like let's really make a big move here. Where are you standing on that? I'm just curious.
It's tough because I remember from 2006 until we drafted Matthews in 14 or whatever, 15. That team was horrible, badly mismanaged, bad players, just really, really bad hockey. And then we've had 9 straight years of playoffs. This is a really bad season. Obviously, they're going to miss the playoffs most likely. But, James, there was a few years ago where Tampa Bay also missed the playoffs and they bounced back pretty quick. So I don't know. I can't see them really trading Matthews or Nylander. Those are the two guys. And Nyes, I would keep those guys. But I think
here's a question for you.
Else should be on the block. Yeah.
Watching Matthews.
Yeah.
He kind of looks checked out.
Yeah, I agree.
I honestly feel like the loss of Marner played a psychological impact more than what they've let on. You knew Marner didn't want to be there anymore. We knew that.
No.
But it feels like it hit the core a lot harder than it did. And they just haven't looked, at least from the body language you've seen on the ice, in the locker room and everything. They just look checked out and kind of done with it.
I mean, you're 100% right. That's what I said. Last night was pathetic. It was 6 lost to the Rangers. It didn't get worse than that. The only problem is right now, I'm all for the tank. The only problem is Boston has the pick that's top 5 protected. So
that's true.
I think they're 12th or something. They're going to pick 12th. I mean,
they're 9 points up on being bottom 5 too.
That's the problem too, right? Because
they're
if you look
too good for that. So
in the Western Conference, the Leafs are the first team out of the playoffs right now. But in the East, I think they're second worst, I believe, right now, or third worst. New Jersey and New York, I think, are behind them. So and maybe Florida too. Actually, Florida's they talk about a bad year. They've had a bad one too, but they had a lot of injuries. I don't know. I just
3 straight finals.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? I would take that trade off any day. So for me, James, I'm okay with them rebuilding, but I don't think they will. Just with the market, the way.
Well, a retool, I think. To me, retool is you keep, obviously your guys like Nyes and Nylander and Matthews.
Yeah.
I mean, those would be your biggest assets, and then you sort of build around that and hope it works. But we'll see. But you are seeing teams now kind of do the rebuild a little bit. Like St. Louis, I think finally is kind of doing that. You would think if they're trying to get rid of Parayko and everyone else, will see who they can get. I think there's a lot of teams that need to rebuild.
There was some rumor today, or not rumor, I guess, a report that Stolars could be available. I mean, the thing is, he had a really good season last year, and he was really good for Florida, but he's been hurt this year. His numbers are terrible. His save percentage is under 500.
Oh, I know. I have him in our hockey pool.
So it's a bad season for him. But the thing is, he just signed a 4-year extension. So maybe they're just trying to dump that money right now, kind of like what you guys did with Garland. You just dumped him after you signed him.
Well, and that's that's what drives me nuts the most. If Garland was not on a contract, I think he would have got more value because they could have just negotiated whatever they wanted, and I think there could have been more. But again, they made a bad bet this year because they're like, oh well, last year we had the Pedersen thing, that'll be fine this year, and then it's just the worst. It's going this team to me looks worse than the 23-24 San Jose Sharks. And that team, I think, finished with, I don't know how many points, but you remember David Quinn when he coached the Sharks that year and they were just awful. They couldn't score. I think that was when they still had Vlasic and those guys. It was the Canucks are looking right
it's
that.
It's going to be worth it if you guys get the first overall pick, right?
Let's hope so. But knowing Canucks, I could just see it Gary Bettman. You have got 3rd overall. That could happen. That's my terrible Gary Bettman impression.
Kind of what I expect. They'll finish last, and it won't even be close. They'll be 15 to 18 points behind the 31st place team, and they'll pick 5th.
My biggest fear is New York ends up getting the first pick, the Rangers. Of all teams that don't deserve it, they've messed up everything.
Chicago or New York getting it would if the top 3, to be honest, for me as a hockey fan, if the top 3 rounded out with, in a way, Vancouver, St. Louis, and Calgary getting the top 3 picks in the draft, whatever way, that'd be a win.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And I think Canucks have got to get 1 or 2. You don't want 3. Nothing against Verhoff, but they just they have enough defensive prospects. To me, you got one of those centers, whether it's Steinberg or McKenna, you're getting a franchise player that's going to be with you for a while and is like a cornerstone piece.
Let's put it this way.
Don't know
Chicago,
that.
Yeah, no, you don't know
Chicago-
that, but I think that based off past draft years, it does look very solid, right? You know,
Ottawa
like-
got Stützle number 3, and you would take him number 1 all day long, or Sanderson, right?
Yeah,
Ahead of Lafreniere and Byfield. Like you don't know. Number 3 could be a franchise-altering pick still. Like,
yeah, it's true. It's true. I just don't get the same, like, you know, like Matthew Schaefer, like, I mean, granted, he's exceeded everyone's expectations, but like, he's a cornerstone piece. I think right now, like, you know, I don't know. It's tough to say. I see what you mean though. It's just we've never had a top 3 pick, like other than the Sedins. Like it's been like the Canucks have never had a first overall pick in their franchise history.
Yeah,
and,
they didn't
and Mike,
even
you would
get it
know
that
this
year
because you guys got what was it, Gilbert Perreault, right? Wasn't
Gilbert
it?
Perreault, yeah. But
Yeah,
the
and we
thing
got
is,
Dale Talon.
If
Owen
If-
Power.
if the Rangers or Blackhawks win the lottery this year, the NHL lottery be as rigged for big markets argument is going to be at a fever pitch.
Well,
Because
you know,
we
Ottawa
felt
lost
that
their
a lot
first round pick because of a botched trade. Meanwhile,
Oh, that was so
Chicago
stupid.
gets Connor Bedard after covering up
Yeah, that's
Sexual assault. Yeah, you're
Let's
right.
not get
Yeah.
into the scandal, but you know, like,
Yeah. No, it's 100% true. It was bullshit, and you know it's.
They
yeah.
got-
But anyways,
the
I
Devils
think
got
that's all
punished
going to
more
work
for the
out when.
Koval
I think Bedard's leaving. I think he's gonna. I think there's a reason, right? I think Chicago. I'm gonna hopefully. I'm putting this out there to hope that it ends up happening. I think Chicago's going to end up bridging Bedard because I don't think he wants to stay long term, and then he's out of there, and then he comes home, and then by then the rebuild should hopefully be, you know, well in its way. So we'll see. I'm just being optimistic. I got nothing to hold on to.
He's going to go to Los Angeles with McDavid.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think EP40 gets moved today to Carolina. Kotkaniemi or pick or 2. You know what? This is how bad things are, guys. I would take Kotkaniemi at this point if it means getting rid of Pettersson. I'm at that point. I mean that's the, you know, the Simpsons equivalent of like, oh, I'm so hungry I could eat at Arby's. It's the same thing. You know, like that's
Hey,
like
hold
I'm
on.
at that point.
Hold on. I won't tolerate the
RB
home
slander.
of the meats
Yeah,
being
fair enough. Fair
slandered
enough.
right
Yeah.
now. Okay.
Fair enough. And I have a Pettersson jersey. Like I was all in on Pettersson, and it just hasn't worked out. So I hope he gets moved too, John. I hope I like the positivity there. What else are we thinking, Troy? I haven't talked to you in a bit.
Did I sell that?
What's that? Oh,
Should
yeah,
I
there you go.
sell
Yeah,
that?
no. You know what? I'm gonna keep mine because it was my mistake back then, and I've got to live with
Hey,
it.
I still got
You
my
talked me
Dylan-
into buying this one.
I know I did. Well, I got one too. We're suffering together.
I have my Dylan Cousins autographed goat head jersey that I got. I got that. I won it at an auction a week before he was traded.
Okay.
We love
Seven-
Rich Cuz in Ottawa. I got to tell you, he's 65
days.
points in 83 games.
So no, I got a good jersey story for you guys, and Andrew, it involves a friend of ours. So a guy we went to university with, we call him Mac. He bought a Michael Vick jersey right before the dog scandal. I kid you not. Like you can't even wear that because then you're like a dog abuser, right? So
Oh, that's brutal.
yeah, that was pretty funny. Troy, I wanted to get to you because we haven't talked much. Just some of the names that are out there. Do you expect any more like kind of big moves? Is there anything you think Columbus needs to do as far as working the phones? What's sort of your thoughts on everything going on?
I think over here, living in New York, I think with the Rangers is such known sellers right now after Chris Drury made a public announcement basically saying that they are retooling. I'd be shocked if Vincent Trocheck doesn't make a move by the end
He's
of
gone.
May.
He's the one I guarantee is gone. Apparently, Minnesota was in on him, but it came out minutes ago that because of the move they made for Foligno, they're out on him. So he is one where, if he ends the day still a Ranger, then Drury should be fired.
I think I saw he
He probably
refuses to go west. If he's
Yeah,
going to be traded, it's got to be east.
I think a lot of that has to do with, it came out maybe like a month ago. He wants to go to a market where there's a great youth hockey program.
Mhm.
Like that is a thing. So that opened up, like a lot of people are like, all right, that opens up an area like why Minnesota was a thing. Buffalo became an option because of it. Like a lot of regions have areas have opened up solely because of that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, we'll see if there's some other moves. One big trade we haven't talked about that I want to get your guys' thoughts on: John Carlson going to the Ducks for a conditional first and a third. I guess it's the price of getting defensemen, but Carlson I believe is on the end of his. He's a UFA next year, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Just your guys' thoughts on that move as Anaheim looks to get some veteran help on the back end there.
That's a fantastic move on Anaheim's side. And in the fantasy hockey realm, Jacob Chikrin has been unleashed. Although he has about 20 goals already this season as a defenseman already. I think next year, if you're drafting a fantasy hockey team as well, this Jacob Chikrin with guaranteed power play one time, 25 plus minutes a night, is easily a top 5 round pick. And yeah, I'm really excited for John Carlson to help balance out the Ducks back end because I think their forward group is super talented, but they need a little bit more consistency on the back end.
I wish nothing but bad things for the Anaheim Ducks solely because of who their head coach is.
Fair enough.
I hold that in
2007.
I hold that in a lot of problems with me that he's back in the league. And we already talked about the slap on the wrist Chicago got. Like, it bothers me. So seeing Anaheim have this success, great collection of talent. Like Carlson, on the Carlson being dealt, Ovechkin said this morning that it's the saddest he's been in his career. Seeing Carlson dealt. Now I'm sitting there, I'm like, someone try and trade for Ovi. Get him to the playoffs.
It looks like Washington's just thrown in the towel on the season with that move. Like,
and I think part of it too is, and I think this is a good move that they've actually done a good job of over the years. Is like, you know, they know when to kind of cut ties, I think, and recoup value. Like, I don't know if Carlson was someone they wanted to trade, but maybe Anaheim came to them and said, "Hey, we're going to offer you a first and a third." Who wouldn't take that, right? I think, and you got to be realistic too. Like we've talked about this before with all of you, is that you don't want to be in the mushy middle, right? Washington, I don't think, even if they were to make the playoffs, they're not going to be a threat this year. So cut your, get what you can, recoup for the future, and Ovechkin's going to stay there forever. So I don't know.
They learned by holding on to Backstrom for probably 5 years too long.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Yep. No, but like I remember, like a couple of years ago, I remember they made a trade. Was it who? What defense? There was someone they traded, and I was like, and then they were still like in playoff contention. I can't remember who it was, but they've done a good job of that for sure. Natalie's asking, is Nil done, as in Jim Nil for the Stars? I mean, yeah, they get Tyler Myers. What were the other moves that Dallas made? I was trying to remember.
Michael Bunting, not him.
Bunting, that's right. So that's that comes.
Feels
with,
like that's a they're done move. They're also a team though. That's where it's weird. They're another team where they can't really. I don't think they could do much better. And do you really want to throw something? They're in the middle of a 10-game winning streak. Do they want to? Do they want to add something more that could, or see something come out of their lineup that could alter what's been a really, really strong run? But it's so funny that they're in a 10-game winning streak and still 6 points back of Colorado.
Yeah, I know.
They're not
Minnesota's right there too. That crazy division.
That's central.
Dallas is going to play Minnesota in the first round, right? Like that's
again. This is why I absolutely despise.
Everyone hates the playoff format. I don't know a single person who's in favor of it other than Gary Bettman.
It would just be more fun to like see different matchups. Like I got sick of the Leafs playing Boston and Tampa Bay.
Oh, speaking of which, speaking of Dallas, what's up, Travis? How you doing?
Hey, James, how's it going?
Good. We got Travis Tyler here, the great Travis Tyler. Where are you right now? Are you at the arena right now?
I'm at the arena. Yeah.
Perfect.
Avalanche are going through their skate. Star skate is done.
Good stuff. We got some boots on the ground. Hey, we haven't talked since Tyler Myers went to Dallas. You guys just got Michael Bunting. You guys must be pretty pleased so far with some of the moves.
Yeah, I think everybody's pretty pleased with it. They put Tyler Myers in the corner of the locker room with Liam Bichel and Alex Petrovic. So that's a nice, pretty menacing corner of huge guys back there. And then Bunting is already, both of them have already talked about the chemistry that they feel like the locker room has, and they just feel like they fit here.
Good. No, that's excellent, man. And then do you think Dallas is done making any moves? We just had a question here from Natalie. I know they're probably always looking to upgrade, but I think a good amount of their work has been done, I would think.
Yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag depending on who you talk to. I feel like a lot of us feel like there's going to be something, not anything major, but it's a more than likely. I would think that they might be done, even though there could be another move. I think Darren Dreger, I think, put out something that said they might be looking at something else, but it doesn't. I mean, unless they surprise us, it doesn't feel like there's going to be anything big coming down.
Is there anyone so far that has been dealt that you were hoping Dallas was going to be in on? I believe there was some talk about maybe them and Garland, but I wasn't sure.
It's a good question. I don't know, honestly.
I mean, getting Myers was big, I think, especially for the fact that a lot of people didn't even think he was available, right? Because his family lives in Vancouver, so it was kind of a tough sell, but it made sense with the Houston connection, obviously.
Yeah. I was gonna say he has Texas roots. His half brother played for the Mavericks for a little bit, so it's and he mentioned that like his kids were excited, and actually he mentioned his kids were excited just to get a new jersey out of the trade. But that was a good connection. I think for as far as like people that as players that could have ended up here, I think it's more of Bunting was a little bit of surprise to some people, because they I guess everybody thought there was going to be a bigger name coming, but he fills that middle six spot pretty well, and he's not young, but he's not too old either. So.
Quickly, because I don't want to keep you too long here. What's going on with Jason Robertson? Is there any update there? Because this is sort of something that's getting lost in the shuffle because of all the trades. But is he going to stay in Dallas? There was that rumor that Spit and Chicklets put out about. Well, it wasn't a rumor, but I think Keith Yandel just threw it out there. And Andrew, this ties to you as well, where they're like Jason Robertson for Brady Tkachuk. I'm sure you heard all that stuff.
I saw that Taylor threw that out there a couple weeks ago too, by the way. But it seems like they're going to wait till the summer from what I can tell. I mean, again, not totally.
Because he's an RFA, right? So they do have protection with him, which is good. Right?
So they do have that protective thing. So he wouldn't be a true free agent till next year. But yeah, it doesn't seem like, especially with the cap space they have right now and where the deadline is right now, it doesn't seem like anything's going to be done before the deadline, which, I mean, if it's not done before the deadline, I wouldn't expect it this season. That's just the way.
I don't see it happening for Brady. Like, if the Olympics kind of debacle taught us anything, it's these players are actually not aware of anything that goes on outside the rink at all. That's like, people can talk and talk and talk, but like Brady's not like, oh man, that Ottawa media and the fan base is upset with me, so I'm out of here. Like, players don't think that way, and the organization's like, look, this guy's kind of a unicorn. No, he doesn't score as much as Robertson, but he brings like all these intangibles that you don't normally get with a first line player. So I don't see it happening unless Brady does like what Matthew did, where he's like, I'm not going to re-sign here. You've got a year, trade me. Right. Who knows? I mean, they said on the podcast themselves, like, you're an Ottawa lifer, right? So like,
I don't see it happening for Tkachuk. I was just saying in general, whether it's a deal or a trade, I would expect the action to be moving in the summer.
Robertson's going to want like a haul of a contract. And how much cap space does Dallas have, right? And I would agree with that. He's probably going to get moved, but you've come this far. Like, you gotta see what you're going to get in the playoffs with it.
Right.
Yeah, totally agree.
The roster you've got.
Travis, we'll leave you to it. Thanks again for popping in. I know you gotta do more work, but thanks for popping in here and giving us some insight on the Stars. Unless there's anything else you want to mention before we get out of here.
Not that I can think of right now. So
watch the Texas hockey podcast here on Fanatics View. My guy Travis Tyler. Thanks again, Travis, for doing this.
All right, thanks, guys.
There you go, Travis Tyler covering the Dallas Stars. And Troy, I know you got to get out of here too. Thank you again for giving us some insight on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Anything you want to mention before we're out of here?
Yeah, I'm just curious to see who wins the Vincent Trocheck sweepstakes, and also the Nashville Predators and the St. Louis Blues. Obviously, a lot of their players have been swirling around the rumor mill, so I'm curious to see which of those players actually end up making a move. Thank you so much for having me on.
No problem, Troy. Maybe we'll get you on this week. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what the schedule looks like this week. Natalie thinks that Robinson will resign. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. A lot of things can change. Actually, that kind of ties into something else. And speaking of free agents, what's going on with Alex Tuck, Mike? Have you heard anything?
So he wants, I think I was muted. Okay. He wants 10 to 10.5 million right now.
No, you don't make that move.
He's going to get 11 if he hits the market, like without question. That would put him at the top forward by over 2 million, because Tage Thompson's only at 7.1. Granted, he signed that deal years ago, so
53 points in 61 games is an $11 million player now.
Well, apparently, when the salary cap goes up to 90 something, it's absolutely
Harry Pagula's money, not my money. But
exactly, I don't care about the money. It's more so everything else, because they don't have the space. Like, they'd have to, like, we believe that Jordan Greenway will be sent out in the offseason. That'll clear $4 million. They have RFAs in Zach Benson. They have to re-sign. They just gave Josh Doan, which is funny enough. Last time I was on with you, James, I said Josh Doan was going to fall in that 6 to 7 million, and then the next day he signed for 6.9 per year. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm Nostradamus of the contracts.
Let's just bring you on. You do a better job than Kevin Adams.
Krebs is played to where he's going to be back next year. He's an RFA again. They have to figure out what they're going to do with Michael Kesselring. I think it's a one and done season with him in Buffalo. Bowen Byram has one more year after this. He possibly could be on the outs. Owen Power could be dealt. But the big thing that's stopping Buffalo from even giving him this 10.5 is Jeff Skinner's contract is still on the books.
Oh, that's right.
And next year, that deal is going to cost the Sabres $6.5 million on the cap.
I thought the Rick DiPietro thing was bad, man. They're still paying Rick DiPietro.
He's at 4.4 this year.
6.4 next year? Jesus, you're right. I didn't even know that.
4 next year. Then it drops to eatable 2.4s for the final 3. But that is, you don't have that. You can sign Tuck and everybody else, no problem.
Yeah.
But because of that, you're going to see moves made that clear out cap. Jack Quinn, I think, is a player that's on the outs. I would like to see him package. He's having above expectation season this year. I would love to see him packaged for something. Greenway, like I said, is on the outs, but Beck Malenstein is a guy who has become a glue. They traded for Carrick, but Malenstein is also that glue guy. He's a UFA after this year. So what do you do with him? Like, there's so many things they have to figure out that it becomes almost impossible to envision Tuck. So I honestly do think the Sabres are done today, and they just view Tuck as their top 6 rental for the year.
Right. So they're sort of the old saying, like, we're going to use you as a rental, and if we lose you, it's whatever, right? I guess.
Yeah, you try and trade his rights at the draft and see what happens.
Yeah, kind of like what they did with Marner.
Because he said he's wanted to be around, but at the same time, how much do you really want to be around if you know? But granted, get your money, get your bag.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's like Kiefer Sherwood. Like, I am so glad he got that contract. I am very glad that isn't in Vancouver. Like, San Jose can eat that. That's fine. That will not age well. The way he plays, everything, like, he will get a couple good years for San Jose, but he'll be 36, I think, when that deal's done. Like, he's not going to be like that at 36. It's like Chris Tanev.
And that's a big thing with Tuck. He wants 8 years at 10.5 mil. He's 29. Yeah.
I know, which is the age range you avoid for long-term contracts.
I'm not signing an 8-year deal for anybody. Like, Tage is 28. If he was up this year, I wouldn't sign him for 8 years either. Like, I just don't. Like, if you can get Tuck to sign, this is where I think the 10 mil could come and whatnot. If you can get Tuck to sign 3 years at 30 mil, do it. Figure out a way and make it work. 8 years at 10 a year? Nope, I'm good.
One thing in defense of long-term contracts, especially from a small market team perspective, is it eliminates so much of the noise of this player leaving, is this player leaving, is this player leaving, that can really like permeate. So for a team like Buffalo, like Ottawa, Columbus, like nobody's saying, oh, Stützle and Sanderson are out the door when it comes to Ottawa, right? But Brady's got 2 years left. Everybody's like, Brady's out the door, Brady's out the door. And it's the same thing now we're discussing with Buffalo. Like, Tuck's out the door, but all of a sudden that noise quiets down and it can improve team culture in that way. I don't think it's as relevant for like the Rangers or New York. They're always going to be able to attract somebody, right? Just by being big lights, big city.
Yeah, the Tuck thing is weird because of the fact he's a local boy too. I say boy, he's 29-year-old man. He's a local guy.
I didn't know he was local. Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
He's from 2 hours away.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
he's a Syracuse native. He grew up coming to Buffalo for games and all that stuff. Like, he has said, like, when he got traded to the Sabres, it was his dream scenario. It's the team he's wanted to play for his whole life. Yeah. So maybe I also look at it as you keep him as a rental. Sabres make a run. They win a series or two. Maybe it goes, you know what? We're really close here. I don't want to leave.
Yeah, that's true too.
I think we're there. And I mean, I look at it last year with the Besser thing, different types of players, but everybody thought Besser was out the door. When then they didn't trade him, and everybody's like, so you're just going to let him walk for nothing? And then he re-signs.
Yeah, well, how that played out was they wanted Christian Dvorak. He ends up signing in Philly because the connection with Tocchet when he played with him in Arizona. And then the Canucks circled back and they're like, all right, we'll give you what you want. But, just hasn't worked out. And then he got engaged. So he's engaged to a girl that lives here in Vancouver. So that's another thing. Like, and all these guys have trade protection, like Besser, all this. So that's why all these Canucks fans are like, oh, how come they're not moving out contracts? Because he gave them no trade. Like, they have all the control right now, right? The guy the Canucks should be trading is Philip Hronek. You see what defensemen are going. John Carlson netted you a first round pick. Philip Hronek would get you a first and I'm sure other assets as well. They should be looking into that. But no, you know what they're going to do instead? They're going to keep him and they're going to make him captain. And this is the same guy who doesn't do any media. It's going to be a disaster next year. I can't wait. So.
On a non-trade news, but it eliminates the UFA from this year. Jordan Eberle has extended himself in Seattle 2 years.
Oh, really?
5.5.
5 point. Okay, fair enough. You need some veterans there. Seattle's been. I mean, they got snubbed with Panarin. I wonder if they're going to be making any things. But they're a team that I think might miss the playoffs, honestly.
If I was a betting man, which I absolutely am a betting man, San Jose, I think, is the second wild card team.
I think Seattle's in the second wild card spot right now, I think.
Yeah, I think they are, yeah.
Seattle's currently in the second, but...
Seattle has no scoring.
Yeah.
Sharks
are three behind with 2 games in hand.
Yeah, go ahead, Adam.
What I was just... TSN just did a mock draft. I don't know if you saw this just now. Yeah, and they did the whole first round. So Canucks dropped to third. Chicago went second, and Toronto won the lottery.
Did they say that Ottawa had a first round pick at all?
It said forfeited. It said forfeited for Ottawa. So you guys got to get your no trade list right, man.
Of course, Toronto. Of course, Toronto would win the lottery on TSN. When that's the only way they're going to have a first round pick this year is if they win the lottery. That's
the thing. It just said they had 8. So Boston would get our pick right now at 8th, which is just horrible for Brandon Carlo. Who's been an absolute bum for us. He's been terrible. Yeah. I didn't mind the trade at the beginning, but man, it's just
you don't mind the trade when you think, it's going to be in the 20s.
Yeah, because you're like thinking it's going to be like 20s, like you said, 25th maybe, and then you get him for 2 runs. But he wasn't good last year. He's been banged up all year this year. The thing with the Leafs is like they're just not fun to watch either. Like it's not entertaining hockey, right?
I mean, they're fun to watch in a different way.
I very much enjoyed watching them 4 shots halfway through the game last Saturday.
Or you see them knocking each other over to give a breakaway. Like they're
oh man,
James,
I got the 2 guys in the basement for the last decade going after me. But I don't blame them because
we deserve this.
I do the same thing. What is that 14-year playoff drought for the Sabres? Is it 14 years?
Yeah. You know what's funny? Insane. And you know what's really hilarious? I'm gonna stab you a little deeper.
That's all right.
Over the last 21 years, the Buffalo Sabres have more playoff series wins than the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I mean, you guys had a good team. Like, what was it, 20 years
Sens too?
Sens.
But the thing is, the Sens have made the playoffs like on and off. The Sabres have missed the playoffs in those 21 seasons 18 times.
Yep.
Speaking of teams not making the playoffs, did you know, I didn't know this, did you know Detroit has not played at Little Caesars Arena in the playoffs?
No.
Yeah,
yes.
It was so weird.
Isn't that crazy?
Growing up, like James, our generation, Detroit was in it every year.
Yeah, Joe Louis.
I know.
Joe Louis, that era of the 90s through the 20 like through the beginning of the 2010s, it was just every year.
And if they had drafted Quinn Hughes like they should have, which was still the most puzzling thing ever, they would have made the playoffs. Yeah. But they got, what was it? No, who was the guy they drafted instead? It was I forget the guy. Zaka, Pavel Zaka, who's not even in the league anymore. It's just terrible.
If there was any Atlantic team that's currently in a playoff spot that I would consider like, you're due for like a bit of an extended losing streak, Detroit would be that team.
They've been falling off a bit recently, I think, right? Like they were first.
They're lately Detroit is on a bit of a skid right now. They are 4-4-2 in their last 10, so they need to make a move too. And here's the thing:
I think Montreal's going to make a move today, James. Like I think they're
they will. But here's the thing with Detroit: like make a move. Like they have not made like a bold move at all, and they've got the picks. Exactly. David Perron's not going to cut it. So
there you go. Got it back.
They need to they should be in on Pedersen, honestly. And I'm not just subliminally saying that.
We never talked about them, James. The most overrated team, right? In the NHL.
I mean, again, they do everything right except win in the Eastern Conference Finals, right? So I don't know. Like listen, like with Carolina, to me, it's still a wild card in the sense of like they still got this cooking the Emmy thing. They've got this red hot goalie who's done quite well, but like how's he going to do in the playoffs? Like is Anderson going to be your answer if he's not good? Like I don't know. Like there's a lot of questions. I would imagine Carolina's in on things.
teams figure out those flash in the pan goalies over
Yeah.
a 7-game playoff series.
I'm
pretty
not
well,
completely blind
historically
this.
speaking.
Brandon, is it Boosie's last name?
No,
Is
no,
that-
me neither. This is Andrew Hammond all over again, is it not, Andrew?
It might be the Hamburger.
Yeah.
I remember that guy.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
I
But
think-
that's
I
what I'm
think
saying.
the
Like,
Sens outshot them something like 41-20 and lost 2-1 with Bussy in that.
dude, the Canucks
Don't
scored
quote me
4
on that
goals on the
score, but-
Hurricanes the other night. Like, how does that happen? Yeah, they're like one of the lowest scoring teams in the league. Like, I don't know. I have my concerns, and I think with Carolina, like they've made these big swings over the years. The whole thing with Mikko Rantanen, they did the thing with Jake Getzel the year before. Like, they need to do something that's going to stick. Ehlers has not been the game changer, I think, that some people thought. They need a big move today, I think. They should be in on Robert Thomas. They should be in on some, because they have the assets to do it. And to me, it's just going to be the same thing. They're going to get to this is the year to do it. Florida's out. Like, this is your window. To me, I look at the East and I look at, I've said this before. I think Buffalo's the dark horse. I think Carolina, Tampa Bay, those are the ones you got to worry about in the East. But outside of that, it's wide open, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right, James.
Ottawa too, Andrew. I said this. Once their goaltending got in order, which it looks like it has, that's a team too I'd keep an eye on.
There's no
Hallmark
reason Ottawa
hasn't
can't
lost in
take
regulation
Boston.
since December.
Yeah, I know.
You guys-
That's right.
There's no reason you guys can't overtake Boston. Boston, I don't think is really. I don't think
No.
they're good at all. To be honest with you.
No.
I don't think they're good. I think that's the one team that's going to fall out of the playoff race. 'Cause if you look at the 8 right now, I would think
They
that's
have
the one.
like 2 number 3 centers. Like they don't have that center depth, right?
Yeah,
The-
completely agree, Natalie. Hurricanes and Stars do need to take the next step. I will see if the Stars are done. It
The
sounds
Stars
like
even
they
have
are.
cap room though. I mean, like, they're pretty much.
That's
capped out,
yeah.
I
We'll
think.
quickly check this up.
I would think they're capped out, but I could be wrong.
No,
Even though
no,
the Wizards, I mean, he's a-
yeah, no, they're capped out basically. But
both
that's where the
franchises
Robertson
with one-off cups in the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 era.
Those teams are amazing back. Like Colorado, Dallas, New Jersey, Detroit.
Yeah.
Those were the best teams back then. And
Carolina
then
was
the
more of a
Sounders
fluke in 06, but yeah.
got- Yeah.
So yeah, Montreal's another team that should be taking some
They're
risks. Like
gonna
they
get
have done the rebuild. They now have the assets to move. Like they could make a bad move with a draft pick. It doesn't matter, but they got to do something because I don't see them doing much in the East either.
I think Bobby McMahon would be good for them because he's again a guy that can just fit in their lineup. He scores good amount of goals. He's fast.
Yeah,
I don't
for sure.
necessarily love trading a good player to Montreal, but I mean if they can get a pick for him, if Montreal's like, hey, we'll give you 2 seconds or first. I would
Maybe
do that.
Line A and a few picks for Pedersen.
Whatever.
Line
I'll
A
take
just to
it.
get him off the books, right? Like,
Yeah, I agree.
I
Whatever.
think he's virtually done. But yeah,
But does
Okay,
Pedersen want to go to
James.
Montreal? That's the thing we got to look at because he has no trade protection. Do you want to go to another hot media market? Like I think Pedersen would be, if they could make it happen, go to a smaller market where he's not going to get hassled. I think he's probably sick of that more than anything because he's bad with the media.
he needs to play in a Utah, in a
exactly.
Carolina. Like, no, I'm not getting recognized on the street kind of market.
James,
Yeah,
James
for
I was going to say another guy
Yeah.
that we didn't mention yet, or I forgot to mention earlier, but OEL, guy that obviously you're well familiar with.
No, the Canucks are still paying. They paid him to win a Stanley Cup in Florida.
Yeah, I heard Elliot on the radio today. I think he said the Sharks and the Red Wings are the two. teams
So
that are-
quickly, I'll mention this is going to be my last point because I actually have to hop off the show here, guys. But if you look at San Jose right now and their
They have cap
defensive
room, right?
core. They have cap room, they have picks, but here's the thing: all
have
their
no one signed
defensemen, for the
past
most
this year,
part,
right?
are
Yeah.
guys that are they're all UFAs. They need. This defense is. You talked about
Makes
Buffalo
sense,
being
though.
the best. San Jose's probably got the worst defense. If you look at
I think
Vinny
OEL is a
Desharnais
really-
is getting
really
regular
good fit
minutes.
there, honestly,
Yeah.
and I think they would give up their first round pick for him because they're probably going to make the playoffs, like you guys said. Like they have a chance to they're a team that they were a perennial contender for years. I love playing with them back in the day of getting Nabokov and all those guys on the old games. But
I agree.
maybe they'll bounce back with Macklin.
For sure. Adam, Mike, Andrew, thanks so much for joining us, guys. This was a lot of fun.
Of course.
If you guys missed anything, post it in the comments. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of NHL Trade Deadline. I will be back on the usual time on Wednesday. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.